You guys know about these. HX Stomp XL, HX Stomp. These things are amazing. If you know me, you know that I love these things. But there's one problem. They only have one DSP chip as opposed to their larger counterpart, the Helix, which has two DSP chips. And it can be a problem because having one DSP chip has its limitations. So today we're gonna do a little bit of a challenge. We're gonna challenge ourselves to build a preset using only one DSP chip. I'll use the HX Stomp so you know I'm not cheating. And let's up the ante a little bit. We'll make sure that this preset is a dual cab preset because why not? Dual cabs sound amazing. And while we're building that preset, we'll learn some things about DSP, maybe some DSP hacks, if you will. So, can we do it? I think we can. Let's try. Hey Worship Leader, my name is Jimmy Cooper. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by. On this channel, we talk about all things worship ministry related. And today we're talking about gear and specifically DSP chips. So this applies to you, whether you have an HX Stomp, an HX Stomp XL, or you're a Helix user who's taking full advantage of the new spillover thing that came out with a 3.0 update. If you don't know about that, we're gonna talk all about that in a minute. But before we do that, I need to let all of you know who are Expanse Pack members, HWL insiders. I need to let you know that the next Expanse Pack update, it's here. It's here right now. It's called 2.0, Expanse Pack 2.0. It's in your member area. Go to the website, log in. It's there for free for you right now. Go enjoy. Also, check your email because I emailed you. Now you might be wondering, Jimmy, what is this Expanse Pack that you speak of? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's an ever-growing collection of presets that I use. It's all my favorite stuff. And the cool thing is you pay once and you get updates for free for life. This is not a subscription. You don't have to pay monthly. Like I said, you only pay once. You only pay once. You get free updates. Like today, when I updated it, everybody who paid for it in the past, way back, they get the free update today. It's like new things. Constantly new gifts for you. If you're interested in purchasing access to the member area to get the Expanse Pack, to get your free updates, go check it out. Click the link in the description. Now, back to our discussion. I had mentioned spillover with the Helix, and for those of you who do not know, with the 3.0 update, they said, hey, we've had a lot of complaints about not being able to have spillover, your sounds continuing when you go from preset to preset, even though they already solved that problem with snapshots, but they're like, hey, a lot of people are still complaining, so we made a way, and now you can toggle a setting within the global settings that will allow you to have spillover between presets. Yay! But don't think that it doesn't come with its compromises. In order to take advantage of spillover, you pretty much have to only use one DSP chip. The whole second DSP chip is reserved for spilling over into the next preset, and so therefore you're taking your full Helix and making it a little Stomp. But I say, hey, that's okay because I don't think you need all that horsepower to get great sounds for Sunday. That's why I think this challenge is awesome. I want to see what we can do with when we're limited to one DSP chip. Plus I've had several messages, people inboxing me saying, thinking about getting an HX Stomp or an XL, and I've heard it has limitations. Can you run dual amps and cabs? And I'm like, yeah, you can. Actually, there's a dual amp preset in the Expanse Pack update, so go check that out. But today, I wanted to do that. Let's do a little bit of a challenge. Let's build a preset together. Let's hop into HX Edit and see what we can do. Now we are about to hop into HX Edit, but first I want to give you something for free, and it's my Tone Secrets Guide. It's a PDF that I made up full of pictures and explanation in detail of the things that I like to do to get great tone. It's a step-by-step process, so it's easy to follow and you can do it at your own pace. If you're interested in that, click the link in the description. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so to understand DSP or digital signal processing, it's basically like your bandwidth, what you can use. And so to illustrate this, I'm gonna grab our biggest DSP sucker that there is, and that is the poly effects. We can do poly pitch or poly wham. What we wanna do is just try to get another one of those, and look, it's already grayed out. We can't even have two poly effects. And so we can have a poly effect up here. Now let's go and add like an amp. We already have amps that we can't use. We can't use any of these grayed out amps. Why not? Oh, so many amps. I mean, there's a lot we can still use, but there's a lot that we can't use, and we haven't even done our reverb. Let's pick a big reverb at the end of our chain. Stereo, dynamic hall. I think that's a big DSP sucker. And now let's see how many amps we can get. Let's go to amp. There's one amp. It's not gonna work. Now, we're not gonna get super technical today because other people have done it and they've done it way better than me. There's a guy by the name of Ben Vesco at benvesco.com. You can go to his website, click Helix, and then go to DSP allocations, and he has done this whole thing here where you can look up every model, every amp, cab, reverb, delay, overdrive, anything that's in the Helix, and see how much DSP percentage that it would take up when used with other effects. And you can sort them, so you can play around with this. This gets very very detailed, but you can go look at that. It's very helpful. But today we just kind of want to find out a quick way to see which amps happen to pull the most DSP or more DSP than others, because sometimes you may not really care which amp you use, and you may have just picked an amp that you think you like, and you like that one, so then you try to add other effects. You're like, oh, why can't I add this effect? So let's build up from the ground up and see how our actions affect other decisions that we might want to make. So let's get rid of the poly effect. Our dual amp challenge does not include a poly effect. I'll say that right up front. Let's go ahead and get rid of our reverb, and let's look at some amps. Let's pick out one of my favorite amps is the Matchstick Channel 1 or Channel 2. Let's just do Channel 2, and we'll pick another cab block, and let's just do that one twice. No, let's pick something else. Let's do the Grammatico Bright. We would want to pull this down, and so far we have 2 amps and 2 cabs, so that's a plus already. Let's go down here and add a reverb. Well, we see that some things are grayed out, but let's add a reverb. Oh man, our reverbs are gone. There's only one stereo reverb. The Glitz is left. The Glitz happens to be a reverb that I really like, and it looks like DSP allocation wise that it is, out of the stereo reverbs, it's the one that uses the less DSP, the most less DSP. Anyways, so that's good to know. So we'll put a Glitz in there. And let's say we want to delay. Oh, we're done. There's nothing left. So we can't use these 2 amps. That's just too much. So let's pull that amp out of there. Let's see what other amp we can use. Okay, they're all available to us again. How about this? Let's go to our reverbs and go ahead and pick the dynamic hall again, and then see how many amps are left. Okay, so these amps are among the ones that are still lit, that are less DSP driven. So we have the Matchstick. We could have 2 Matchsticks. That'd be cool. So Matchstick 2, Matchstick 2. We'd have 2 of the same amp. May or may not want to do that. We can have a AC30. So that's pretty cool. So let's just go with that for now, and we'll see if we have any more limitations later. Okay, in front of our reverb, we want a delay, and we also want it stereo, because if you're gonna have dual amps, you probably want a stereo sound, and there's not a lot to choose from here. We have a ping pong delay, a duct delay, and a simple delay. So I guess let's put the simple delay in there. And now one of the questions I got in my inbox was, I want you to build a preset for me that has 2 amps, 2 cabs, and also has like 2 overdrives, a reverb, and a delay. So let's see if we can get 2 overdrives in here. Go over here. Oh, we're already out. So we got to pick a less DSP heavy amp. And so we have this Supro, the US Small Tweed, the Jazz Rivet, and I will just go ahead and say that the Jazz Rivet is definitely one of my favorite. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I love this amp. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now we have the Jazz Rivet. Let's see if they have room for, it opened up some distortion. So now looking here in our distortion, our overdrives, we can see, and we don't need stereo here, but we can see that some are grayed out, and we can see the ones that have less DSP, which the Timmy is one of my favorites, and then we have the Scream 808 Tube Screamer. Yeah, let's see if we can get both of those. So we have the Timmy, and no, we don't have enough DSP. So we need to lessen our amps. Let's just do 2 Jazz Rivets. We have a delay, a stereo delay, a big stereo reverb. We have an overdrive. Let's see if now we can get our overdrive. Now we have a Tube Screamer, and we have a Timmy. We have 2 dual amps here, and a dynamic hall. Well, without touching anything, let me hook it up real quick and just see what that sounds like. All right, I need to plug in my headphones because I need to be able to hear it. Using the Sennheiser HD600s, love these things. Links in the description to all my gear if you want to go check out what I got. Sounds pretty good. I mean, I didn't even dial anything in yet. That sounds amazing. So let's see some other things we can do. Now, for those of you, let's see what the amps sound like without the overdrives. Super clean. So here's what I like to do with the Jazz Rivet. I like to pull the drive all the way up. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna delete this one. I'm gonna get this amp sounding just like I like it, and then I will make 2 of them. Yeah, I'll copy and paste it. So pull the drive all the way up. A little bass heavy. Let's take some bass out. We'll add some treble, some mids, somewhere in here. I like the way that sounds. That sounds really good. So let's double that. We're gonna save our progress. Let's copy that, paste it, pull it down. Now I hear some noise. Well, that's because we had 2 amps. But if we turn on our overdrives, you can go over here to this main left, right, and turn on the input gate. Cleans it right up. Sounds really good. So we don't need that much overdrive. I didn't dial these in the way I normally would. Let's pull back the gain a little bit. The bass cut, we pretty much could just leave it. Maybe we'll add a little bass. Clean tone. And that sounds really good. Let's do our tube screamer. Pull the gain back up the level a little bit. Stack them. Lots of fun. So let's turn those off. We can also do a little trick. I've done this a lot in my videos, but in case you haven't seen it, you can do a little delay in between the amps. So let's put one right before this one. See if we have the room to do it. Mono, simple delay. It's there, nice. We'll put the time at like 19 milliseconds. Put the feedback all the way off, the mix all the way on. And what this does is it gives us a 19 millisecond delay between the 2 amps to kind of create some width. So that sounds cool. Turn our reverb on. Let's turn our tube screamer on and our delay. That's a really nice tone. I like that. All right, can we add anything else? Let's see if we can add a modulation before the amps. Oh no, everything's grayed out. So we have to choose something else. We can get rid of our tube screamer, and then a modulation opens up. Let's see if we can fill up all the blocks. So if it's before the amps, we don't need a stereo effect. If I were to put this mono effect after the stereo amps, it would just sum it to mono, which may be all you want. It would be kind of like, we could get rid of this delay too, but I just wanted to see if we could do that. We'll come up with some other options that don't have to do with this little millisecond delay there. But we add modulation. I really like the Legacy Dimension Chorus. I use it a lot, and it sounds like this. All right, can we add anything else? We could add EQ, we could add dynamics. We can have one compressor if we wanted a compressor. So that fills up the blocks. That gives us Like you could toggle on and off a compressor, toggle on and off a, leave the reverb on all the time, and maybe just adjust that with a snapshot and toggle on and off delay, and there's your dual amp preset. All right, let's try some other things, just for fun. We got time, right? Let's get rid of the compressor. Let's get rid of this delay. And get rid of this mod. We'll add back our other distortion. What do we have here? Let's add back the Scream 808. Bring this down, bump that up. And let's see if there are any other... Well, I know what. Let's put our reverbs and delay in front of our amps, as if this was going straight into an amp. And the way I have these split up is I have this like split Y block spread, because this is what you need to do to hear the separation of the two amps. This is the same amp, but we could do some different things with the cab to get a different sound. So right now we have just the Ribbon 160. We could dial this in a little better. On one of these, let's do the bottom one. We can blend microphones. That one has a lot more bass. Here's a little tip. You can move the mic away to get the same tone of a certain mic you like, but if it has like too much bass, then you can pull it away. So I think I like this one about here. I mean, I love that amp tone. Just because something has less DSP doesn't mean that it's not good. Let's get rid of this heavy reverb and go back to our glitz. Remember, our glitz didn't have very much DSP. So I like to bump up the decay, bring back, keep the mix low like this. Let's bring in some of this crazy modulation. Man, that sounds really good. So with that reverb, maybe we can get, yeah, it opened up some better delays. So Transistor Tape. We have the Elephant Man. Man, a lot of these good delays in here. Let's get some crazy sounds. The Elephant Man has the depth, yes. We can get too much depth, if I remember right. Yeah, that's too much. Let's try the tape. The wow and flutter of the tape sounds good. We'll jack that up. Bring the scale down to 75. Leave it at a quarter. Bring the feedback up. Bring that mix up a little bit. And that sounds really good. Another thing we could do to save DSP instead of using so many drives is that you could use a gain block to push volume into the amps. So let's try that and see if it works. So here we go down to volume pan, gain block, and we'll bring it up. You know what? Let's do 37 dB, sure. And I'll save it to a foot switch. And let's just see what that adds. Let me turn off the delay and reverb and see if that adds actual like overdrive. Let's do more. 12 dB. I mean, that's pretty cool. And I know that those take a lot less DSP. Like if we were to get rid of these overdrives, we could probably copy and paste that a bunch. 4 overdrives. Yeah, that's a little ridiculous, but you could do it. You could do it. You could have them go up, you know, like 2 decibels, a piece and then just add them. What if they all just added 2 decibels every time? Clean tone again. What I like about using a gain block is the fact that you're just gaining up your amp even more. So yes, you could do that with probably the gain or the drive, but we've already maxed out the drive on our amp. If you use channel volume, it's just increasing the volume of your preset of your amp. It's not sending any more gain to it. We've already used all of our drive, and a lot of times the drive section on the amps will, and this is a whole nother video. Let me know down in the comments if this is a video you'd be interested in, but the tube amps, Jazz Rivet, not a tube amp, so we don't have like the sag and the hum and the bias crossover. A lot of times when you just crank the gain or the drive on those amps, it gets real muffled and muddied and it's hard to like dial them in. So if you get it just like you like it, but then you just want to add more gain without the volume gain, you can add it this way. And anyways, you got a lot of options. And we're talking about saving DSP, and this is one way that you could get a more overdriven sound without having to use an actual overdrive, because these gain blocks take up way less DSP than an actual overdrive. What else do we want to do? We can use our dynamic hall again. We've opened up everything but one delay. So we have our transistor tape. Let's just say we want 2 of those. Ooh, we might be able to use a simple pitch. That would be cool. Sometimes I like to use a pitch block to add like an octave higher to some lead tones. Not really chords, because it can get kind of muddy or funky sounding. Organ-like sounding, if that's what you want, that's fine. But it just adds like a little shimmer on top. And so let's do this. I'm gonna have this one jump up to like 8 dB. And so using these blocks here as overdrives, we can now use a pitch effect. I wonder if we weren't concerned about stereo, if we went mono, and I went with the transistor tape, I went with a mono glitz, because we know that took less DSP. We don't care about stereo. Let's just say. Can we use a poly effect? No. Could we with only 1 amp? We could use polycapo. We're getting somewhere. Polycapo helps us to be able to tune down like whole step, half step. So if I'm in E, can we add anything else? Ooh, we can add modulation. Let's do it. Let's just go back to the regular chorus. Yeah. If we took away this, would any more? What would we have to take away to get more? Ooh, there we go. Poly pitch. So another trick to have dual amps is that you could do dual amps into 1 cab, or have 1 cab going into like dual IRs or dual cabs. So let's try 2 amps going into 1 cab. Does that give us the ability to have a reverb? It doesn't. We have modulation. So there's 2 amps, dual amps, technically dual amps, just going into 1 cab. Let's get our favorite amp, my favorite amp, the Matchstick 2, going into 2 cabs. It won't let us, but it will let us do an IR. Let's see what IR. I have some of David Hislop's stuff here. Let's do a 121 at 1 inch. So the IR is less than the cab. So if we use 2 IRs, then what can we have? Then we can add, no, nothing. So just 1 IR. Still no reverb. I want to use a poly effect, an amp and a cab and a reverb. Maybe if we go back to our, you know which amp, the Jazz Rivet, can we add a reverb? Oh, we can add a reverb. Can we add a stereo reverb? Yeah, look at all those. All right, I think we've played around enough. We got kind of an overview of what we can do. For those of you who are looking to get an HX Stomp, looking to get into the Helix world, and you're wondering what you can and can't do, there are plenty of options. Sometimes you got to do some workarounds, but I love the Jazz Rivet. If you're looking to save DSP, you want dual amps, mess around with that amp. It sounds pretty good, at least through my guitar. So give it a shot. Thank you guys for watching the video today. I hope it was helpful. If it was, let me know by liking the video. Comment down below what's your favorite way to build presets in light of having limited DSP. Do any of you have the full Helix and use spillover? Anybody? Let me know down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I got some really exciting things coming just around the corner. Some more giveaways. You guys like those giveaways. Got some more coming. I have some other things being sent to me that I'm very excited about, and I think you might be excited about it too. Enjoy your weekend. Have fun. I need a sign off. If anybody's still watching, I need something to say. So I don't just say, see you in the next video. See you in the next video. If you watch the next video, I'll see you there. I don't actually see you because I'm looking into a camera. Anyways, what could be a good sign off? Lead worship well. I already have a friend. He has that channel, Leading Worship Well. Good channel. You should go check it out. Worship leaders are always learning. Oh wait, that's Worship Leader Hangout. There's no plan B. Oh, Rhett Scholl. What could I say? Is there something non-corny? That's the thing, is I can't think of anything. If I'd have thought any of those things, I would have thought, oh, that's corny. Hearing them say it sounds great, but I can't think of anything. I want something that's like got something to do with leading worship. This is a worship leader channel, but I just can't think of anything. So, enter cool quote here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.